Hello you beautiful legends and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 726 and today is Friday. Quite quiet Friday, but we'll be talking about Thursday because we are back vlogging or back journaling. For those of you that are new to the channel, quick reminder, this project is my accountability tool in which I decided to build a routine or a habit of writing and podcasting every single day, starting from zero experience, from scratch completely, and up until now, as you can see, number 726. It means that it's a day 726 of consecutive writing and podcasting without any day off or any slip up, fortunately, and hopefully we'll go like that up until day 1000, in which I hope to do some change, some transformation or transition of this project to something else. I still have some time to think about it, but to be honest, it might as well go beyond 1000 days because life gets in the way and sometimes you just keep going. But the main important thing is about keeping going. And so far I was able to do that, which makes me really proud because most of the things that I do are very much hyped things that I might do for a month or two and then they just fade away. So Thursday was quite packed, mainly because we had a day off our business, so we did not deploy the sauna to the beach, neither morning nor the evening time, because we were away. Sauna stayed at home. It was locked and protected to make sure that nobody steals it, because trailers especially are in big demand along burglars and thieves, especially on this side of Ireland. Even though we don't have many theft situations or scenarios, the trailers are always a value and they can be sold pretty quickly for decent money. You can imagine, like, my trailer is worth about 4,000 euro, and in most cases, if somebody doesn't protect their trailer, it's just a matter of driving quickly towards the trailer, latching it to the tow bar and just driving away if nobody's watching. In our case, our trailer is secured with the lock on the hitch is secured with a very strong protection, and also if we go for longer periods of time, we have the clamp onto that we attach to the wheel, and basically it can't be moved this way. So we went to Dublin yesterday, early morning. My wife had an appointment there, and we left her in Dublin city centre, and then we headed straight to Swords, which is North County Dublin area. It's still considered kind of Dublin, but it's in between the district and a separate village. But there's a big shopping center there, and we went there for two reasons. Julian and myself, we didn't want to waste this time in Dublin, and we wanted to get the full experience that we thought we will get the last time, but we didn't manage to do both things. We decided to go for it this time. Those things are VR experience and movies or cinema, basically. So usually it was easy to get the VR experience. The last time we played Singularity, it's a separate game, kind of in space, and it was co-op or cooperation type mode or whatever of the game, we had company. There were 2 girls at the same time on public session, so there was 4 of us, and we were cooperating as a team and playing against some weird aliens, mostly mechanical kind of robotic things, with the boss in the end. It was about half an hour experience. We had VR glasses, guns, and we were moving around a big space, a big flat room, but obviously we saw it as a, you know, as a spaceship and corridors and other stuff, which was quite cool. But this time we decided to go for something else, and we chose Outbreak, which is a quite cliche type of game, because it's again about zombies, etc., the infection that is consuming the whole world, and there is a group of scientists that are working on a cure or reversing the whole thing. And obviously, as a player, you are one of the Marine squad that is last standing and is protecting scientists to finish their job before it's too late. And the whole game is similar to Singularity or any FPS games. Again, it was cooperative mode, so it wasn't that much or against each other. We were protecting specific buildings and whatever, and we were kind of fighting hordes of different types of zombies. Wasn't many types of zombies, to be honest. It was a bit of variety. Obviously there were standard kind of dead walkers that were easy to kill, especially if you headshot them. There were bigger zombies that needed a lot more damage, and they were tougher. Some of the walkers later on in the game were turned into those that if you shot them, they could still bite you, and you didn't know what the hell is going on until you looked down and you saw that they were just crawling and biting you in the legs or whatever. The good thing is that you're not dying in this game per se. You just basically lose ability to shoot or anything for 10 seconds, which costs you time, points, etc., because in the end the game calculates all your points based on how many enemies you shot, where did you shot them. If you shot them into the head, the headshots are counted better. There is accuracy that is compared, how much ammo did you use, all of this, so how many times you died, etc., etc. And then there's a total result for the team, which also places you on a separate leaderboards. It was quite fun. We played with Julian. There was actually a one particular scene that I remember vividly. It felt like you were really in space, I mean high and in open space, when we were walking around the kind of a vent, well, not the vent, but a ventilation system kind of pipe, like a squarish pipe that is usually around the buildings, and we were walking towards the roof on it. So I knew that I'm walking on the flat, wide floor. There's no pits, but because of the VR experience, you really felt like you might actually fall. So that was probably the coolest part of the game that I saw and that I really enjoyed. And there was also a scene where we were sitting in a helicopter and flying over the city that was burning, etc. So that was also cool, until Julian decided to turn on his you know, console mode and started glitching the game. Well, not maybe glitching the game, but playing around, and knowing that we are safe and we are not in the game, he started testing what can he do. So basically, when we were walking around the building, he stepped away of that pipe and he was like, "Look at me, daddy, I'm just you know, walking in the air." And I'm like, come on, we want to immerse ourselves in the experience, not glitch the game. Then he did similar in the helicopter and started walking into the cockpit where it was closed, but he was able to pass through that barrier, and he was in the pilot's seat and he was kind of waving me. you know, these are things that game creators did not predict, I guess, and you still can do, which is weird and also funny, but at the same time it kind of broke the experience a little bit, but it was still cool. We enjoyed it. I sweat a lot during especially in the face area, because you have goggles very close to your skin, and I was so dehydrated afterwards, but we thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll put the picture in the blog of us and the leaderboard. Julian was better in terms of points this time. Last time I went first in the team of 4, and by a long shot. I had much more points and headshots, to the point that I placed, I think, 4th or 5th on the leaderboard, global leaderboard in the venue. But in this scenario, Julian went with different strategy. He was spraying a lot and he got more points. I got more headshots, and in the end we were placed pretty average, so nothing to mention, worth mentioning about. And when we finished, we knew that we have still about two and a half hours of time. We didn't want to go back to city center, and we went to the cinema, and we wanted to see if there's any movie that starts just now, so we could potentially watch it for 1.5 or 2 hours and then still make it to my wife to Dublin city center and pick her up on time. And we wanted to see either Aliens new movie or Deadpool versus Wolverine, but they were the sessions were late, around 4 or 5 p.m, so obviously we couldn't do that. And the only session available from the movies that we wanted to see was Despicable Me 4, which we love. Like, we love Minions, we love Gru. The whole idea is just funny, and we loved all the movies from Despicable Me series, so we went for it. We spent 1.5 hours there. A lot of laughs. There were a lot of scenes that we just burst out laughing while getting some popcorn and whatever drink we had. And it was great time to spend together, instead of kind of getting bored in the car or finding some like weird you know, activities to do while not having really planned to. So yeah, it was the easy way around, because obviously we paid for activities and they were served to us. So on one way it doesn't help in creativity or anything like that, but at least we got some quality time together. We enjoyed both things. We went back to Dublin, we picked up Elizabeth, and we drove through Kilcock, our old area where we lived for a decade, where Julian really kind of spent his first 10 years of his life, and where he left his friends when we moved to Donegal. So it was a bit, how do you call it? Maybe not emotional, but there is a word for it, but I completely forgot it. Julian used it. Sentimental. Oh, it was a bit of sentimental thing always when we drive there, but we know a takeaway there that does amazing taco chips, which is basically a fat French fries that are very common in the UK and Ireland. So a big potato kind of fries, we call them chips, and they are you know, covered with some kind of mayo type of sauce, then cheese, cheddar cheese, that is melting under the layer that is on the top, and that's minced meat with a lot of veg, spices, etc. And it's really good, because I tested a lot of taco fries or taco chips in my life here in different places, and until this day all of them are far from number one, which is in Kilcock. This is like an Italian takeaway. They have very average foods in general, like every other thing like kebab, burgers or anything like that are very average and you can get them anywhere. But the sauce and the whole thing that they do on top of the taco chips is something unusual, and I always keep repeating that. We keep going there and they maintain the great level of the quality of that food. So the fries are fresh and the sauce is always made on the day. It's very fresh. So, you know, so far they are still number one by far. And we ate that. Julian got some burger and then we drove back home without really stopping except for a small gas station stretch because I needed to take a break. I was really tired after all these hours in the car. So we kind of, when we arrived in Donegal, I think we covered 510 kilometers that day. And if you add up the VR experience, cinema and all those hassle in, you know, being in traffic in Dublin City, it all drained me a lot. I woke up this morning completely drained. So we're currently at the beach. It's very quiet, but about the whole day I will be talking tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you very much for being here and watching or reading the blog or doing both or listening to the podcast. I really appreciate your presence and you as an audience, because it's very hard to do it on your own, and having people watching, listening or reading is much better. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you again tomorrow.